It wasn't possible to know the full message of the four towers, but Guangzhou, New Delhi, and Berlin, the exposure of these three towers was an unexpected surprise. Andrei whispered in Russian, "The furthest is Berlin. After this game, I will immediately set off to Berlin." Mu Huixiu asked, "Won't it be too late? I have to go. The two most powerful players in Europe, Lina Jiafas and Don Savic, have died. If no one can attack the tower in Berlin, breaking through the other towers will be useless." Mu Huixiu thought for a moment. "I'll go with you." Andrei froze for a long time before looking at Mu Huixiu. "Don't you have to do something? I might be able to go." The two of them didn't speak again. On the other side, Wang Xiaotian felt like she had been calculated against by Chen Shanshan. This little girl's second question made her feel that she had suffered a big loss. The Black Tower set up 5 treasure towers. The most difficulty thing for players wasn't attacking the Black Towers but finding the 5 Black Towers. Now she revealed the position of 4 Black Towers as soon as she opened her mouth. Chongping in Beijing, Guangzhou, Berlin, and New Delhi. Fortunately, the last tower is still unknown or it would be too disgusting. Humans are too annoying. Wang Xiaotian spoke in a depressed manner. As soon as the camera turned to her, she made a happy expression. She waved to the audience and said, "Then this is the third question." Old viewers of the Happy Q&A know that the third question is the last simple question. Hey, I don't know how these 6 guests will answer. Cinderella's eyes swept over the 6 people. She licked her lips and she stared at Chen Shanshan. Finally, she grunted and moved her gaze. She was smiling but she was inwardly determined to kill these bastard humans. Wang Xiaotian quickly flipped through the booklet, wanting to find questions that were difficult for Tang Mo's group. Her problems were difficult but they weren't completely unsolvable. She seemed to be restricted by something and couldn't ask questions that players couldn't answer. The players answered them and Wang Xiaoshan's mood was terrible. It was her turn for the third question and Chen Shanshan walked forward to ask her a question. She suddenly regretted coming here to help Grisha defend the tower. Then she seemed to think of something and grinned disdainfully. "Ask, child. Whatever you want to ask, just ask it." Chen Shanshan watched her before asking, "The third question, how can we defeat the circus leader, Grisha Sykes?" Wang Xiaotian was stunned and turned to look at Grisha. Like her, Grisha was stunned after hearing the question. He turned his soft and greasy look towards Chen Shanshan and smiled after a long time. "This question, did Tang Mo or Fu Wenduo have you ask it, little lady?" Chen Shanshan's expression didn't change, as if she didn't realize the strong killing intent directed towards her. "I asked it myself." Grisha stared intently at Chen Shanshan, wanting to find traces of any lies on the child. However, it was in vain. Grisha smiled, one hand tapping the table while his other hand held his chin. He watched Wang Xiaotian and Chen Shanshan with great interest. Wang Xiaotian reluctantly spread open her hands. "Grisha, this isn't what I want to say. It is her question." Her meaning was to not blame her. It was the humans who calculated against him. Wang Xiaotian replied, "Defeating Grisha Sykes is very simple. You only need to be stronger than him. Still, in the Black Tower world, there are no more than 3 people stronger than him. It is really difficult to beat him. However, if Fu Wenduo, Mu Huixiu, Tang Mo, Andrei joins hands and use your props, there is a 70% chance of beating him. Just pay attention to his walking stick, which is a very magical rare prop. Its function is unknown in the Black Tower world because no one has made him show the real effect of the walking stick." Grisha laughed. "Should I thank you for at least not mentioning the use of my walking stick?" He said this but another round of questions passed and Chen Shanshan walked forward again. She looked at Wang Xiaotian and asked, "The fourth question, what is the effect of Grisha Sykes' walking stick?" Wang Xiaotian, Grisha, Wang Xiaotian gritted her teeth and replied, "Once his walking stick touches the enemy, Grisha can instantly move the enemy in a certain radius around him, with the walking stick as the center. The premise is that the walking stick is touching the enemy and he is holding the walking stick." Chen Shanshan nodded. "Thank you." Wang Xiaotian, "Why thank her?" Wang Xiaotian suddenly felt that she had recorded many happy Q&A shows but she had never been so upset. It was clearly Grisha who suffered. His hidden card was known to Tang Mo's group. Originally, with the strength of the 4 people, the chances of winning against Grisha was relatively low. Now the role of his weapon was known and he was less likely to stop Tang Mo's group of 6 from attacking the tower. Grisha shook his head helplessly before picking up the teacup in an elegant manner and drinking the black tea. On the other side, Wang Xiaotian was so angry she wanted to smoke. She struggled to find the most difficult question allowed by the Black Tower in her booklet. No matter what question she asked, one of the 6 players was always able to answer. This time, Wang Xiaotian asked Fu Wensheng a very difficult question and Xiao Fu was about to answer. At this time, Tang Mo said quietly, "Option C." Fu Wensheng cried out without hesitation, "I choose C." Wang Xiaotian, "I asked him this question. How can you answer it?" Tang Mo's lips curved as he looked up Fu Wenduo. "I remember that in the rules given by the Black Tower, did it say that the other participants can't talk?" Fu Wenduo saw this cunning young man with black hair and laughed. "No." Wang Xiaotian shouted, "Damn, starting from today, I will add a rule to my show. You can't ask for help." In any case, the players successfully passed through the 5th question. It was now Wang Xiaoshan's turn to be asked a question. Cinderella saw that Chen Shanshan was stepping forward again and suddenly calmed down. She touched her microphone and smiled, "What do you want to ask?" It was a terrible calmness filled with anger. Wang Xiaotian knew the first 6 questions might be simple for them. However, the last 4 questions had a hell difficulty. There were 6 people and 24 questions. She could guarantee that there was at least one question among the 24 questions that none of the 6 players could answer. She just had to wait to retaliate against these damn humans. Cinderella smiled. She had plenty of patience. Even if the players withdrew from the game with the King's Gold coin, it was still her win. The King's Gold coin was a rare item that allowed players to withdraw from a game. Once used, it would be lost. Wang Xiaotian was ready for Chen Shanshan to ask a strange question. Who expected her to say, "You said that you know everything. Then I want to ask you. What did my father want to tell me before he died?" Tang Mo heard this and looked down at the little girl in front of him. Chen Shanshan was too smart and calm, often making people forget that she was only a 15-year-old child. In the past, Tang Mo had listened to his colleagues' gossip while working at Suzhou Library. The huckster was divorced. He always wanted to go to Shanghai to see his daughter, but his ex-wife didn't allow it. The father and daughter hadn't seen each other for 3 years. Fu Wenzheng heard Chen Shanshan's words and asked, "Is this question also okay?" It was naturally allowed. The Black Tower only forbid questions related to clearing the instance. Wang Xiaotian said that she knew the answer to all questions. That being the case, Chen Shanshan asking this question didn't violate the rules of the game. Wang Xiaotian watched Chen Shanshan with inexplicable eyes while Grisha suddenly laughed. Cinderella looked curiously at the circus leader. "Lord Grisha." Grisha smiled. "Continue. I just think this question is very interesting." Wang Xiaotian made an unknown expression and replied, "Your father wants to tell you to live well." This was a very ugly answer. A father suddenly entered the Black Tower game. Of course he wanted his daughter to live well. Chen Shanshan didn't say anything after hearing this trash answer. She just accepted it. Wang Xiaotian pulled out his booklet and tried to find a difficult question for Tang Mo's group. She hadn't opened it yet when Mu Huixiu smiled. "I am curious about one thing." Wang Xiaotian glanced at her. "If I'm not mistaken, this Black Tower belongs to the circus leader. You should be protecting a Black Tower nearby. Why are you here helping him and not at your own Black Tower? Don't you need to guard the tower?" Wang Xiaotian didn't need to answer this question because it wasn't her question time. Still, she didn't care and replied lightly, "The players attacking my Black Tower will enter the Q&A game." Mu Huixiu continued, "Then it is like when we first came here. You and the circus leader were sitting there drinking tea and the people played the game on their own, answering questions and being punished." Wang Xiaoshan's heart tightened and she quietly asked, "What do you want to say?" Mu Huixiu didn't say anything and turned to look at Tang Mo. Tang Mo raised his hand and pulled a thin book from the air. In front of Wang Xiaoshan's face, he turned to a page in the middle, took out a pen and wrote a few lines in it. Wang Xiaotian didn't know what he was writing, but she realized it was definitely bad for herself. She snorted and murmured coldly, "What do you want to do?" Chen Shanshan opened her mouth. "I don't know if I guessed right. Before someone asks you a question, you aren't omnipotent." Wang Daishan was suddenly stunned. "If you really know everything, why don't you know what I am going to ask you? Why act surprised and angry when I asked you those questions? You aren't omnipotent. However, you answered all my questions. One is a cosmic formula that humans don't know it, you yet you know it. This thing isn't even known to the circus leader." Chen Shanshan continued, "In terms of strength, I don't think you are stronger than the circus leader. But you know more than him. This is a very unreasonable thing. In addition, you answered another question. You told me that no one in the Black Tower world knows it, yet you knew the function of the circus leader's walking stick." Wang Daishan thoroughly understood something was wrong, but she couldn't refute it. She just sneered, "So what? This only proves that I am really omnipotent. Other people don't know things, but I do. I am different from the other Black Tower bosses. I am the happy Q&A host, Wang." Her voice stopped and Wang Daishan was stunned. "No, why am I called Wang Daishan? I am clearly Wang Dai." Her mouth dropped open as Cinderella tried her best to say her name. No matter what she tried, she could only feel that she was called Wang Daishan. It seemed that something had changed her brain. It wasn't just here. Grisha, the Black Tower bosses who knew her and the audience knew that she was called Wang Daishan. Yet in front of the grid where she stood, the word Wang Xiaotian still shone with a golden light. Similarly, in the thin booklet, the words host, Wang Xiaotian didn't change. Once the names were written in the book, they couldn't be changed. The Cinderella currently sitting in the host seat was no longer Wang Xiaotian. The thin booklet flew out of Wang Daishan's hand and into the sky, suspended in the center of the 7 exclamation marks. Yes, from the moment Tang Mo wrote the name Wang Daishan in his abilities book, the exclamation marks in the sky changed from 6 to 7. A brand new exclamation mark floated on top of Wang Daishan's head and could fall at any time. Chen Shanshan opened her mouth. "You answered 3 questions that you shouldn't have answered. You took it for granted that you could answer them. In particular, for the 3rd question, the answer you gave me wasn't trash. Your actions told me that your answer was correct. Truth, secret, emotion. The 3 questions shouldn't be answered by anyone but you knew them. If I didn't guess wrong," the short-haired girl thought about her wording. "The host of this program has an unchangeable causality. As long as the guest asks her a question, the host will know the answer no matter the question. The premise is that the player asks it. If the player doesn't ask, then you don't know the answer. Thus, you don't know that I have an ability that can change anyone's name." Tang Mo put away the abilities book, his voice calm. This is a law of causality ability. The way to activate it is very harsh and requires me to know a big secret of the target whose name I want to change. The more important the secret, the higher the success rate of changing the name. I think that your biggest secret is the truth of the Happy Q&A game? Fortunately, I guessed correctly. Ability, your father or your father type, special type function, there is a chance to change the name of an object. The duration is 7 days and it can be used once every 10 days. The law of causality can't be reversed. Restrictions, the name, appearance, and date of birth of the target must be known. The deeper the understand of the target, the greater the probability that the ability will work. Tang Mo version usage instructions, the duration is 3 days and it can be used once every 30 days. After being used, the target will get to see Tang Mo's most important secret. Tang Mo smiled. Oddly, I don't have any secrets that I can't say now. I don't care even if you know the secret. Wang Daishan was forced this far by the 6 players. She lowered her head and knew that she had lost. There was no way for the game to continue. She turned to Grisha and cried, Lord Grisha, I can't continue to protect the tower for you. I have to stop this game. You must avenge me. They bullied a poor and helpless girl like me. Grisha got up and handed her a handkerchief. Wang Daishan wiped at tears that didn't exist and heard Grisha say, My lady, aren't you actually very happy? The fake crying stopped. Wang Daishan looked up from the handkerchief, her blue eyes staring at Grisha. Grisha gently touched her head. Congratulations my lady, you tried your best and you are free. Wang Daishan smiled happily. She suddenly took a step and walked out of the yellow grid. The moment she walked out of the grid, there was the sound of glass breaking. The yellow grids at the feet of Tang Mo's group disappeared. Ding dong. Congratulations to the players Tang Mo, Fu Wenduo, Chen Shanshan, Fu Wensheng for successfully clearing Cinderella's happy quiz game. Wang Daishan walked quickly, not caring that her name was changed from the lovely Wang Xiaotian to Wang Daishan. She clapped and a pumpkin carriage appeared under the black tower. She approached it with great pleasure. She was about to leave when she suddenly pulled the reins of the horse and opened the curtains. Wang Daishan scoffed and smiled at Tang Mo. I don't know what ability you have to change my name, but once you changed my name, a secret about you suddenly appeared in my heart. Tang Mo was stoic. His biggest secret was that he secretly liked Victor for a long time. Now he was together with Fu Wenduo and it didn't matter if Wang Daishan spoke this secret and revealed it to the children. Wang Daishan's lips curved as she smiled sweetly. I'll tell you. This Tang Mo, his biggest secret is, Tang Mo interrupted her. Fu Wenduo and I are together. Mu Huixiu looked surprised for a moment before she became relieved. Andre didn't care and just said, oh. The 2 children had the biggest responses. Chen Shanshan was still for a moment before she murmured, no wonder why I always thought there was something strange between Brother Tang and Major Fu. It turned out to be this. It seems that I know too little about feelings. I have to make up for this lack of knowledge in the future. Fu Wensheng heard this and didn't feel good at all. Why was Sister Shinshan's first reaction to fill up her lacking knowledge? Clearly the most important issue now was that Big Brother and Brother Tang were actually a pair. Why was everyone accepting it so easily? Tang Mo himself revealed the secret and Wang Daishan was stunned. She spoke in a strange manner, is this what you thought I would say? Tang Mo's heart tightened as he realized something was wrong. Wait, you, Cinderella suddenly felt the thrill of revenge and didn't about her ladylike demeanor. She laughed in an exaggerated manner, ha ha ha, I will tell you. Tang Mo's biggest secret is that Tang Mo always thought it was fortunate that everyone's physical fitness has improved. Otherwise, they would only do it once in this life. Fu Wenduo's physical strength is really good. 10 silver needles shot through the air at a very fast speed, aiming at Wang Daishan. Wang Daishan quickly pulled her curtains closed and drove away in the pumpkin carriage. Embarrassment filled the air. Even the circus leader who liked teasing Tang Mo and Fu Wenduo just coughed, deciding not to add to the chaos. Fu Wenduo didn't think that this would actually be Tang Mo's secret. Mu Huixiu turned her head and pretended not to hear anything, but she couldn't help snickering. Among the 2 children, Fu Wensheng didn't understand what this sentence meant. He pulled Chen Shanshan and asked, Sister Shanshan, what is physical strength? What is the relationship between Big Brother's good strength and Brother Tang? Chen Shanshan, how could she explain this? Andre was the most direct. She shrank something. She did it so quickly I couldn't understand. Tang Mo, he closed his eyes before opening them again. He calmly watched Grisha. His hand held the small parasol while at the same time Fu Wenduo, Mu Huixiu and Andre took out their weapons. They didn't have time to waste. Grisha Sykes smiled. He held the walking stick and smiled. My lady, you want to go together? I will never do anything to children and most of them time, I won't start with women. However, I don't think of the returnee Mu Huixiu as a woman. He paused and continued, then, shall we start together? Before the words finished, Grisha moved like the wind. Chen Shanshan took Fu Wensheng and quickly hid to the side, while Fu Wenduo, Tang Mo, Mu Huixiu and Andre disappeared as they moved at an extremely rapid pace. They were too fast, causing shadows in the air. The 4 people suddenly attacked Grisha from 4 directions and he didn't dare be careless. He laughed and raised the short stick. Ladies and gentlemen, the show has begun. With these red, Grisha's short stick shone with a deep red light. His short stick touched Andre's chest and the moment they touched, Andre's fist only swung against air. Grisha had instantly moved behind him and held the short stick against Andre's back. Tang Mo and Fu Wenduo glanced at each other while Mu Huixiu threw her red whip. Grisha didn't panic. He swung his short stick and wandered between the four players, as if dancing an elegant dance. Added a KO5 for the people asking for an alternative to Patreon. https://ko5.com/rainbow turtle. Pledge any amount to my Patreon to access to the BL Google Drives, where you can get early access to any chapters I have completed. You can also join my Discord channel to chat with fellow readers about the novels.